Yes, the rumors are true. I have officially left Miami and I moved back to Connecticut. So in this video, I want to share with you what happened, why I decided to come back to Connecticut, ice cold Connecticut, and some of the reasons behind it. You know, I want to keep you guys up to date because not only do I like to create content on this channel about making money and personal development, but I kind of like to let you know what's going on and keep you in a loop with my life, because it's great to see, like, for example, you know, I have mentors out there like Stefan Palerno's with Project Life Mastery. I love how he does those update videos and he kind of shares what's going on in his mind, why he's making these different life decisions. And I feel like it kind of gives you full context into, you know, the growth of the person and the lessons learned. So I just want to break this down right now and share a couple reasons why I decided to leave Miami and move back to Connecticut. For the folks who don't know, I left Connecticut last January and I moved to Miami, and as luck would have it, got hit with the good old COVID in early, what was it, about March of 2020, right? It's crazy. Time has flown by. And one of the reasons I moved to Miami is because I wanted to go and, you know, learn salsa and go out and enjoy the nightlife and the city life. And, you know, I moved with my roommate, Avery. And, you know, one of the things is we wanted to go out and have fun and not party and stuff, but really grow networking events, business events, all different types of stuff. We moved into an apartment building called the Icon in downtown Brickell, Miami, which probably one of the most beautiful buildings in the area. And one of the things that we really adored most about the place was they had an ice bath and a hot tub right next to each other. Well, you know, once COVID hit and whatnot, they closed it down, and they closed it for literally a year. I mean, they never opened it. When we left, they never opened it. So those were some of the reasons that I moved there. Obviously, the warm weather, I couldn't stand the winters, and I thought that it would be a really great opportunity to be able to grow my business, get fit, get healthy, so on and so forth. So, you know, I definitely enjoyed the warm weather. But once COVID hit and everything, we couldn't really go out anymore. There was no business networking events, and, you know, there was really no salsa dancing. I mean, it was, you know how it was. Everyone was stuck inside, and it was pretty depressing. And one of the things that I learned being stuck inside and being away from, you know, home, right, for so long is how important it was to me not only to make a bunch of money or to get healthy and, you know, to be around my business partner and to be growing our business. Like, that was so important. But I realized what was more important to me was being around the people I loved, my friends, my family. You know, just being in Connecticut, even though it's ice cold and you pay a crap load of taxes, and I mean, it's expensive to live. And, you know, in Florida, I didn't have to pay state income tax or anything like that. It was just so nostalgic to be like in my home environment, to know all the restaurants, to know all the spots, to be near my mom, right? I wouldn't say, I guess you would say I'm a mama's boy, but I'm not super crazy, you know, dependent on, you know, being around my family and stuff. But I love hanging out with my mom. I love going to thrift stores. I love, you know, being able to hang out with my friends and family. And I just miss them a ton. It got to the point where I almost like fell into like a slight depression because, you know, I was actually traveling back and forth to Connecticut quite often. It was really rough. So that's actually one of the reasons why I decided to move back to Connecticut. And if you're wondering right now, well, what are you doing in a hotel? I've actually been living in a hotel for the last couple of months because I've been trying to find a single family home. I was gonna go with a multifamily. I have two already. But I decided after, you know, lots of reflection and just trying to figure out what I really wanted, that what I want is I want a single family home. I want my own space. I want a place for my eBay and my Amazon business. I want to be able to build my own gym. I want to be able to have my own ice bath. I want to be able to have my own hot tub. I want to be able to build my own sauna, like all the crazy things I like to do. Like, I don't want to be stuck in a multifamily anymore. I don't want to be stuck in a little tiny apartment. I want my own space. So I decided to move back to Connecticut, and I actually just put a house under contract. Fingers crossed, we'll see if it goes through, because I had to overpay literally over $40,000 to get this property. And if you're thinking, Steve, you're a maniac, I am. But that's the name of the game right now in this market. And a lot of people are gonna say, Steve, the market's gonna crash. That's stupid. Interest rates are raising. You know, once COVID and the vaccine and all that goes through, the prices are gonna come down, so on and so forth. You know, a lot of people have opinions, but nobody really knows at the end of the day. You really don't know. There's so many changes going on in the economy and stimulus plans. And I mean, things are just, that's a whole nother story. But for the folks who tell you, this is the way it's gonna be, you're stupid, the prices are gonna come down. Why aren't you a multimillionaire? Like, you have all the answers. They're not. Everyone's guessing, everyone's predicting. Do I think there'll be a crash in the market? Yeah, but when? I don't know. 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 5 years, nobody knows. It'll happen, but I really wanted to start my life. So this is something that I've fought with for myself so long. So if you're thinking, Steve, why are you so butthurt? It's because I was fighting myself, like trying to figure out what do I do because this market's just so crazy. Another interesting thing I learned about myself in Miami is I absolutely hate the city. I hate the traffic. People in Miami drive like absolute maniacs. Every time I would go on the road, you know, I'm not a very spiritual, religious person, but I mean, I'd have to go through multiple prayers and meditations because I just didn't know if I was going to make it back home. Lunatics in the city. Every time I left the apartment, it was a huge process. If I wanted to go to the grocery store, it took an hour and a half. If I wanted to go thrifting or go to thrift stores, I mean, it was just a nightmare traveling. And for me, like, I actually got to the point where I missed the suburbs so much. I missed being able to just take a night ride without getting killed, like having potentially dying every time I get onto the road. And, you know, I liked being able to just travel and go to the grocery store and get an oil change. And things were just very easy and laid back. And with the city life, it was fun at first. And after a while, I mean, I absolutely hated it. Third, one of the things that I learned about Miami, and yeah, I know people are gonna say, I told you so, I gotta experience things myself, is, man, the majority, not everybody, because I met some really fantastic people, but the majority of the people there are just so superficial. And, you know, I remember just going on some dates, right? On some Bumble dates and just going out and dating and meeting people. And it just like disgusted me how just some people would behave and their values, and people are just so, not everybody, right? I'm generalizing. But for me, people are just so like obsessed with how they look and money, and it was just too much for me. So that was another reason why I missed Connecticut. Now, I'm not saying everybody in Connecticut is so sweet and nice, but yeah, it was just too much for me. I already mentioned that I wanted to buy a house, and last but not least, like another reason why I wanted to move back to Connecticut, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, I just missed reselling. You know, I was doing other things such as, you know, running my wholesale business on Amazon and being able to create YouTube videos, and I've got some other businesses behind the scenes, a lot of different businesses behind the scenes, but I miss like going to thrift stores and like selling clothing. I missed books, and although I was able to do it, I couldn't do it as much as I wanted to because I lived on a 48th floor, and we'll put some footage on the screen right now, but I lived on a 48th floor overlooking the city. I mean, a bunch of richy, fancy dancies, and you know, you had to go up 48 flights, and you know, you couldn't just bring all this inventory in. It was limited on space. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm glad I did it, but I miss my old life. I really do. And now that I'm in Connecticut right now, even though I'm living out of a hotel, it just feels so good. I have this new energy. It's so much less stressful. And I think this is important for anybody who's young, right? You're in your 20s and 30s, go out and experience things. You know, you can have a wise man or woman say, hey, you know, I've done this isn't gonna work for you, like you should really keep this in mind. But most people don't learn until you go through it. And that's part of life and growing up, is you have to experience things. And, you know, I really would have kicked myself in the butt if I didn't go through this process and, you know, listen to my gut, which after I went to the Tony Robbins Date with Destiny, my gut was telling me, Steve, you gotta go experience this. You gotta leave the nest, right? I wasn't living at home with my parents, but the nest I'm calling was, you know, living in Connecticut. I always wanted to leave. I wanted to experience what it was like living somewhere, even though I've traveled the country on 90-day road trips and I'm flying places back and forth and whatnot. I really wanted to experience it, and I'm glad I did, and I learned a lot about myself, and there was a lot of time to think during COVID, and there was a lot of time to reflect and a lot of time to journal. You know, one thing that I do is I buy these leather journals on Amazon, and I love to journal and reflect about things that I learned and things that I want to do and so on and so forth. And I learned a ton by moving to Miami to learn what I like and what I don't like and who I am. And, you know, I have no regrets. I really would have regretted not doing it because I never would have known. So overall, Miami's a beautiful place, beautiful weather. You know, the women are, I've never seen like such beautiful women in the whole country. you know, I say this joke all the time, but you know, if you're gonna go to Miami and you're a guy or maybe you're a girl, whatever, however you roll, you gotta go to a chiropractor before you go to Miami because your neck is gonna be, I mean, all jokes aside, I'm dead serious. So see a chiropractor before you go to Miami, but people there are beautiful, right? The guys, the girls, everybody's so fit and healthy, and you know, there's definitely things that I learned from them as well, especially fitness and health. I mean, people really, really value that out there. And there's a lot to be said about living in a nice, warm environment. But for me, not being around my family, especially, and my friends, you know, living in a city was rough. I could see myself possibly moving back to Florida one day, but not in this city. The city life's not for me. It's just creates too much anxiety and worry. And yeah, for me, I learned that one of the things that I need in my life right now is space. And I'm excited to purchase a single family home and start my life. And yeah, no regrets, lots of learning experiences. So if you guys are wondering, well, what are you doing, Steve? I haven't heard from you much. It's been crazy. It's been hectic. I've been living out of a hotel. I've been trying to find a house, which the market's crazy, like I shared, running multiple businesses right now, a lot that you guys aren't even aware of right now. I'm going to be creating a lot more content in the future. I'm looking forward to getting my eBay and Amazon business really off the beaten path again. When I say eBay and Amazon, I mean like thrifting and garage sales. You know, my roots. I miss that. I love it. I enjoy it. Does it necessarily, you know, make more money than the things I'm doing now? No, but you know, one of the things that I realized out of life is you got to do things you enjoy. You got to do things that are fun. And for me, I love the treasure hunt. I love helping people. I love making these videos, and it's fun and it's enjoyable. And you could make really, really good money. And I enjoy going thrifting with my mom. And I miss like the Connecticut thrifting meetups. So nothing but love, you know, and learning experiences and, you know, good times living in Miami, and glad to be back in Connecticut. Hopefully I'll be hosting another Connecticut thrifting meetup soon once everything, you know, gets back to normal. But yeah, with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Much love, and see you in the next one. Peace.